Kakalosh Boker or Masechet Sanhedrin Daf Amud Aleph. You have here chairs, you have Gemarot, everything that you want. Yeah? Very good. Says the Gemara. Okay, we're talking about right now. Amar of Gidal Amarav says of Gidal the name of Rav. We're just on the bottom of Yudalet and Mubeh where it said that somebody came and he said Erech Kli Ze Alai. Remember that somebody came and he said that the Erech of this utensil is on me. So what does that mean exactly? He says Amar of Gidal Amarav, but says of Gidal in the name of Rav. He says Haomer Erech Kli Ze Alai. If somebody's going to come and he's going to say Erech Kli Ze Alai, noten right damav. He's going to have to give the value. Okay, I think that's Sanhedrin. No, no. The other one over there. That one's Sanhedrin. Yeah, okay, friends. So, David, one of you. So he says, "My tama." What's the reasoning? He comes and he says, "Adam yodea shen erech likli." A person knows that there's no erech to a kli, right? So gamar ve'amar. So therefore, obviously, he said it for the shum damim, mishum hachim. Because of that, he comes and he says, "Noten damav." He's going to come and he's going to give the value of money. So says the Gemara, "Hay erechina metaltalin." He says, "This is erechina metaltalin." Which means, right? Are we going to come and say this is erechina metaltalin? So then you should have said erechina metaltalin. Right, mi that's what you should have said then. Irichin metaltalin. Tedvav mundala, 15a1. Okay, so says the Gemara, Tani, you're right. In the Mishnah, we had irichin metaltalin, and therefore, if we have that in the Mishnah, there's no problem whatsoever. Okay, fine. Says the Gemara, Rav Chasta Amar. Says Rav Chasta in the name of Avime. He says, "B'matpis metaltalin la'arachin." Really, be'emet, a person be'emet was already mitchayev in erichin. Remember, Erechin is giving a value of something towards the Bet HaMikdash. But he's matpis a kedusha of the Erechin on metaltalin le'erechin. So therefore, that's what it means. Erechin a metaltalin bishlosha, which means that when he's going to be matpis kedusha on metaltalin for a chov of Erechin, and now he wants to redeem it, the meaning like this: a person comes and he has to give an Erechin. What is the Erechin? Is value. Now, what happens though is that when he's going to come and he's going to give the value, right? What happens though is that he's going to put the kedusha on something which is tangible, something which is movable, metaltalin. So when he does that, and now you want to come and you want to redeem it, on this you're going to have to come and you're going to need 3 people. So says the Gemara, "Hi erechim metaltalin." So metaltalin shel arachim baile. So what does that mean? Arachina metaltalin. It's metaltalin shel arachim, meaning like this. What is the subject? And what is the noun, or the meaning like what is the noun or the subject or the pronoun or the adverb, or the one that's explaining the adjective? So he comes and he says, when you come and you say arechin metaltalin, it means you made the erech on the metaltalin. If you say metaltalin shel arachin, it means that you made the arachin and then you put the kedusha on the metaltalin. But really, the metaltalin was not arachin. The arachin was an erech, and then you just put it on the metaltalin. So it should have been the opposite. So answers the Gemara, you're right. According to the Shita, Tani metaltalin shel arachin. You have to flip around. It's not arachin shel metaltalin, metaltalin shel arachin. Meaning, what is the noun and what is the pronoun? What is the noun or what's the adjective? We have to flip it in order. So according to the first one, you have to actually change it because we learned arachin, right? And then we had to say, no, it's arachin metaltalin. According to the second one, it's metaltalin shel arachin, not arachin shel metaltalin. There's going to be the difference between them. What? The value. Yeah. Yeah, that's different. What? Third of the explanation, the Mishnah says, Rabbi Yavu comes and he says, Beomer erki alai. Really, Be'emet, he's saying, my erech. Now the Kohen came and he wanted to collect metaltalin from him. So therefore, what happens is you're going to evaluate it bishlosha, right? If it's going to be bekarkaot, if he's going to collect karka, he's going to do 10 people. Remember, whenever you're doing an erechin on karka, right, you always have to evaluate with 10 people, and one of them is going to be a Kohen. So, Amar le Ravacha midifti le Ravina. So he says like this: Ravacha midifti comes and he tells Ravina, Bishlema le'apuke me'egdesh. Right? I understand that it's going to come le'apuke egdesh ba'inan shlosha. Right? So you need shlosha. Ela liyu le'egdesh shlosha lamali. But if you're going to come and you're going to bring in the metaltalin from Reshut Idiot to egdesh, so why do I need shlosha then? Why do I need 3? So Amalei says svarahu. It's a svara. Maliule, malilepuke. What's the difference between bringing in or taking out? Meaning, what's the difference between bringing into the Reshut of the Ekdesh or taking out of the Reshut of the Ekdesh? At the end of the day, it's always going to be the same thing because it's a svara. So says the Gemara, what does that mean? Apuke maitama. What's the reasoning why when we're taking out of Ekdesh, you're going to come and you're going to need 3? Dilma ta'eh, because maybe they're going to make a mistake, and then who loses out? The Ekdesh. We don't want the Ekdesh to lose out. At Yulinami, also to bring in Din Matayim, maybe they're going to make a mistake. And then what's going to happen is, again, the Hekdesh is going to lose out. Because if a person came and he's going to say that, let's say, that he gave his house, the value of his house, and now really Be'emet, the value of the house is even more than Be'emet what he thinks. So for what happens? Who's losing? The Hekdesh. So says the Gemara, Svara tells you that what's the difference between bringing into Hekdesh or taking out of Hekdesh? Same thing. At the end, we don't want them to lose. So if you're going to need, right, the Shlosha, right, and if it's going to be Karka, obviously it's going to be Asara. Fine, 2 dots. Right? We said in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda comes and he says, right, one of the people have to be a Kohen. You remember that we said whenever you're doing a Rechin, one of them has to be a Kohen, if it's going to be one of the 3 Kohen, or if it's going to be out of Karka, one of the 10 has to be a Kohen. So it's 9 a Kohen or 2 and a Kohen. So says the Gemara, Amar Rev Papa Labaye, says Rav Papa Labaye, Bisham Rabbi Yehuda, I understand according to Rabbi Yehuda, I know that's why it's written Kohen. Meaning, since it's written over there Kohen, so that's why you need a Kohen. But according to the Rabbanan, that they say, right, that you don't need one of the 3 to be a Kohen. So Kohen Lamali, why do I have Kohen there in the Pasuk? So says the Gemara, Kasha, you're right. It's actually a very, very good question. Meaning that, why does it say there Kohen in the Pasuk if it wasn't a Be'emet, you actually need the Kohen? So therefore, obviously, this is going to be a question against them. But on Karka, we said you need a 9 and a Kohen. But this was according to everybody. Menanamile, how do we know these words? So he comes and he says, Amar Shmuel says, Asara Kohanim Ketuvim b'parasha. Do you know that there's going to be 10 times written Kohen in the parasha of the redemption of Hekdesh? 10 times it's written Kohen. Chad legufeh. One of them you need it for itself because obviously you have to teach you that the Kohen is the one that's going to redeem Hekdesh. Hanach. Why do I need the other one? 9. Have a miyut echad miyut. It's a miyut echad miyut. Ve'miyut echad miyut el rabot. And what is the miyut echad miyut? Whenever you have you remember like the double negative becomes a positive. The exact same name. Whenever you have a mute after a mute, it becomes a positive. It's coming to lerabot. What's coming to lerabot? Even if you can have 9 Yisraelim and 1 Kohen. So one more time. 10 Kohanim are written in the parasha. 1 Kohen, I need to teach you that a Kohen is going to do the redemption. So then you have 9. Why do I have 9 Kohanim? So it's going to be a mute. It's coming to exclude, meaning it's mashma that excluding somebody else other than a Kohen. But it's an exclusion after another exclusion after another. So it's minus. Every single time it's going to become a plus. So if it's going to become a plus and I have 9, so it's going to include 9 Yisraelim and 1 Kohen. Okay, so ask the Gemara, Matkifla, Ravuna Beredan Natan, asks Ravuna Beredan Natan, the son of Natan, Eima, why don't I just say Chamisha v'Chamisha? I'm going to say 5 Kohanim and 5 Yisraelim. Why? If you're going to come and tell me that the first Kohen is Legufo, right, which means that you need it for the Kohen to exclude a Yisrael, the second one is a Miyut Chamiyut. Right? And therefore it's coming to include a Yisrael. So then the second one is not a mute, it's a ribui. So therefore the third one is a mute after the ribui, and it's coming to exclude a Yisrael. And each, meaning like this. What did I do? I did a minus. So I said every single time minus becomes a plus. Yeah, but once I did a minus, and now that one becomes a plus, that's a plus. It's not a minus anymore. So when I come to the next one now, and I want to do again a minus, it's not true. That already became a plus. That already became the positive that it's including a Yisrael. So therefore, you don't have, right, 9 to come and to include, you have maximum 5. So it becomes 5 of Kohanim and 5 of Yisraelim. Yeah, and that's it. Answers the Gemara, Kasha. Bemet, it's a very good question what you just asked. It's a beautiful question. You don't have an answer. Very good. Fine. Next 2 dots. Now we just said that with the Karka, we said that you needed, right, the 9 people and the Kohen in the karkaot. Okay? Says the Gemara. Yeah, he says like this. He says, Vadam Kayitzeben, Adam mi kadosh. He says, I don't understand you. Is an Adam kadosh? Can a person actually be holy that they need 10 people to come and to redeem, right, the person? So Amar Rabbi Yavu says, Rabbi Yavu, what are we referring to? Beomer damai alai. When a person comes and he says that his damim is on him. Okay, and therefore he's giving like as a neder, Hekdesh, his value. So therefore we have to come and we're going to evaluate him like an Eved. The Tanya was learned to the right, Omer damai alai, shaminoto ke'eved anika bashuk, right? Ve'eved itkash karkaot. Now Eved has a kesh. There's a juxtaposition between Eved and Karka. So since there's a kesh between Eved and Karka, so for since they're going to be the same thing, so therefore you also need 10, right? 10. How do you call this? You're going to need 10 people, right? Just like Karka. Okay. Everyone understood the difference between arachin and neder. The arachin is a fixed value from the Torah. I don't have to value him at all. right? Because it says in the Torah, if it's between 20 and 60, if it's going to be a child, if it's going to be a girl, if it's going to be a girl between this age and that age. So it's already written in the Torah. I don't need to evaluate anything. The erech is there. But when a person comes and he says the ma'alai means my value is on me, then you have to evaluate him like an eved, which is sold in the shuk, and therefore it's not meaning it's not just like it's written in the Torah and then that's it. Because if not, I just open up the manual, which is the Torah, and I say, okay, what age are you? This age. What are you? Male, female, male. Okay, so I don't need to do anything else. I don't need to start evaluating anything. Okay. Which one? No. This is just that since the person is not talking about his own erech and he's talking about the money, so therefore once it's an money, we go after an evid. So I didn't understand the question. By Rabbi Avin. Rabbi Avin comes and he asks the following question. Se'ara omer ligzoz. Right? Whenever we're going to come and we're going to speak about se'ar. So we're talking about hair. Now, a guy needs to take a haircut. So it's called se'ar haomer ligzoz. Now he came and he was magdishoto. Yeah, he was magdish his hair. Right? Some people, they make their hair, their hair is, so what happens? Huh? No, this is for anybody. Anybody. So he comes and he says, right? So it's going to be on Meligzos, and he was Magdish. So now he wants to come and he wants to redeem it. So how many people do you need in order to redeem it? Okay, so says the Gemara, Ke gazuz dami. It's considered that it's already gazuz, it's already cut. Uvishosha, and therefore you need 3 people. Or dilmar maybe kemechubar dami. It's considered attached to the body, and if you need 10, meaning just like by a human being, you need 10 people to evaluate the human being. Do I say that the hair is attached to the human being, and therefore to evaluate his hair, we're going to need 10 people, or do I say no, that it's already considered detached, and therefore all you need is 3 people? So Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. Hamagdish tavdo. If somebody's going to be magdish zevel kanani and mualimbo, there's no right. There's not going to be dine milah. Meaning that if somebody benefits from him, there's no benefiting from it. There's no milah. He doesn't have to bring a korban milah. Rashba gomer Shmuel says moalim besa'aro. However, though, there is going to be milah right in the se'ar. Right, so he comes and he says like this. He says and moalim bo. Rashba comes and he says moalim besa'aro. There is going to be milah in the hair. V'kaimalan. So we come and we say to besa'aro molig zos plige. So it's actually machloket to do with the se'ar. Right, which is going to be gozes, meaning they're going to come and they're going to cut it afterwards. Shema mina. So we actually learn from here that this is going to be a machlok between the Tanaim over here. Tana kama holds se'aramod ligzuz is like the gufa adam, and therefore obviously you need 10 people. And therefore why? Because they have to evaluate him. It's like a human being. But according to Rashbag, he says that it's already considered metaltalim, but it's considered detached, and therefore it's enough 3 people. So Neimahani Tanai, Kani Tanai. Why don't we just say that this Machlok Tanaim is like another Machlok Tanaim? The Tanan who's learned in the Mishnah, Rabbi Meir comes and he says, Yesh Dvarim Shen Kekarka. There are certain things which is like karka. Yeah? No, Adam Etzasadeh, it's a little bit different. 1 minute. So he comes and he says, right, 1 second. So he says, right, Yesh Dvarim Shen Kekarka. Right, there are certain things which are going to be like karka, ve'enan kekarka, not like karka. What does that mean? Says the Gemara, ve'en chachamim modim lo, but the chachamim do not agree to him. Keitzar, what is the case exactly? Eser gefanim te'unot masarti lecha. Imagine right now a person comes and he tells his friend, I gave you 10 grapevines. Right? Eser gefanim, right? It was full of grapes. I gave it to you, right, to be shomer on the karka. Ve'hala omer, another guy comes and he says, no, you only gave me 5. And I'm chamesh. Rabbi Meir mechayev. Rabbi Meir comes and he says that he has to swear. Right? Why? He's mudeh b'miktzat. Remember that whenever a person comes and he's going to be mudeh b'miktzat, which means he agrees to a partial of the claim, he has to come and he has to swear. Chachamim come and they say, Kol mechubar lekarka reu karka. Anything which is attached to the ground is like a ground. Right? And therefore, you don't have to swear on karka, you only have to swear on metaltalin. Amar Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina says Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina, Ba'anavim omdeli b'seri skinan. We're talking about anavim which are already ripe and therefore they're waiting to be taken down. So more savar Rabbi Meir holds kimsuro damian that it's already considered cut down and therefore it's like metaltalin. More savar kimsuro damian, and the other one says that it's not like metaltalin. So it comes out that the machloket is the same machloket. The machloket between Tanakama and Rashbag is the same machloket between Rabbi Meir and Rashbag. Right? That basically, again, one more time, it's already ready to be cut down, ready to be taken down. And do you hold that it's already considered metaltalin, or do you hold considered like karka? So says the Gemara, no, it's not true. Why? Afilu tema Rabbi Meir. Even if you're going to tell me that it's going to be Rabbi Meir, ad kan lo kama Rabbi Meir hatam. When did Rabbi Meir say over there? Kol kama deshavka lehu mechashe kachshe. He says, as long as they're going to come and they're going to put it, and it's going to be attached, right? They continue going, they continue being bad. And that's why they're considered kibitzurim. אבל שערו, כל כמה דשב כאילו השכחו משבח. He says as long as it's there, it continues getting better. Meaning what he's trying to do is he's trying to make a differentiation between the grapes and between the hair. The hair doesn't go bad, it just grows longer. So there's nothing wrong. It becomes better. It just grows. There's no difference. But he says, but to do the grapes, the longer that you leave it there, the worse that it becomes. So because of that, you cannot compare both machlokot. That means even though you wanted to compare both machlokot, to not say that it's actually going to be the same machloket, it could be two separate machlokot. One machloket is to do with Rabbi Min and Rashbag, and the other machloket is to do with, right, Tanakama and Rabbi Rashbag. Okay? Fine. Afterwards. Dinei nefashot, says the Gemara. Right, we're talking about now dinei nefashot. We said that dinei nefashot is going to be with 23 people. Okay, we need 23 dayanim. So says the Gemara, kapasik v'tani. Right, so what we're saying as follows: the Mishnah is going to come and is going to tell us lo shna rovea zachar ve'lo shna rovea nekeva. Meaning, in both dinim, the shor, right, has a bedin of 23. Remember that we're killing, right, the shor. The shor was used for bestiality. But when it was used for bestiality, we killed the shor. Right? Why? Just because of the embarrassment of the human being. Okay, so therefore, right, that's why it says, right, veta be'ema ta'arogu. Right, you have to kill the be'ema. Yeah? Yeah, that's why, because of the embarrassment of the human being. So because of the embarrassment of the human being, so therefore they're going to come and they're going to kill the shor. So the Gemara says there's no difference between the rove'a, right, and the nidva, which means there's no difference if it was a man or a female, right? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, anything whatsoever that whenever we're going to come and kill, right, the animal, we're going to need 23 dayanim. So says the Gemara like this: Bishlamar rovea nekeva. I understand by the shore, which is going to be rovea nekeva dichtiv varaktata isha v'tay be'ema. You're going to come and you're going to kill the woman and the animal, which means that the pasuk is coming and saying, right, that the be'ema is like the woman. Just like the woman, you need 23 dayanim to kill her because she just did bestiality with this animal. So too, you have to kill the animal with 23. But rovea zachar minalan, how do we know that a male, you need the 23 by the shore? Meaning to kill the male, yes, you need 23 because it's a male. But where do we make the hekesh between the animal and the man? We made a hekesh between the animal and the woman. So just like the woman, you need 23 dainim to kill her. So to the animal that she did it with, you need 23 dainim to kill the animal. But the man, where did you ever see the hekesh between the man and the animal? So says the Gemara, dichtiv, it says, kol shochev im be'ema, mot yumat. Im eno onyan l'shochev, teneo onyan l'nishkav. He says, once again, anybody that sleeps with an animal gets killed. If you don't need it for the man, that's going to be rovea the be'ema, because we already learned it, obviously, in another pasuk, right? So he says here, teneo onyan l'nishkav. So therefore, it's obviously the one nishkav. So what does that mean? The apke rachmana bilashon shochev lashku nishkav l'shochev. Meaning, we're going to come make a kesh between the animal, right, and between the human being. Just like the shochev with the be'ema, who ubemto be'esush. It doesn't matter whether it's going to be him or the be'ema. It's going to be with 23. So to the one which is going to be nishkav with the be'ema, which means that he's passive, right? Also, hu bememto is going to be 23. So it doesn't matter how the male actually plays it out, whether it's going to be active or passive, right? At the end of the day, you're always going to need 23 for the animal, right, as well. The next part of the Mishnah said, Shor Niskal also needs 23. Shor Niskal needs 23 dayanim. Shneimar says, Pasuk Shor Yisakel, vegam be'alav muyumat. Just like mitat ha'be'alim, kach mitat ha'shor. Here you have a juxtaposition. Since it says, when you want to kill the be'alim, how do you kill the ba'alim? You need 23. So too, kemitat ba'alim is like kemitat ha'shor. So too, when you want to kill the shor, which is an iskal, remember, this is a shor that came and he actually killed a human being. So therefore, you're going to need 23. So Amaleh Abayel Rava says, Abayet Rava, mimai dehai vegam be'alav yumat, lechmitat be'alim, kach mitat ha'shor hu de'ata. So says the Gemara like this. Abaye comes and he tells Rava, how do we know that vegam be'alav yumat is talking about mitat be'alim, so too is mitat ha'shor? He comes and he says, how do we know that vegam be'alav yumat means that explanation? Right, that it has to be like the same death penalty. He says, right, Elmaleh talahu data, tedvav mubet, you have 15b. Maybe be'emet, we're talking about lechayevet balashor mita, and not the animal at all. Meaning, the pashtut of the pasuk is that we're going to kill the human, not the animal. Whoever said the human, your shor went out and killed. It's incumbent upon you. It's incumbent upon you to make sure, right, that he's not going to do that. And if he did it, you get killed. Yeah, you get killed. So says the Gemara, Im ken if so, lichtov v'gam be'alav v'lishtok. It should have said in the pasuk. How did the pasuk say? The pasuk said, "V'im shor nagachu mitvot shoshav v'rabi v'lav v'lo yishvenenu v'hemit ish o isha shor yisakel v'gam be'alav." That's it. Why did you say yumat? You didn't need to say yumat, right? V'gam be'alav. Ashor yisakel v'gam be'alav. He says, why did you have to say yumat? So says the Gemara. So obviously the yumat is coming to teach you that it's going to be mechayev the mitah, but it's talking about the shor, right? And therefore there's going to be a 23 dayanim. So says the Gemara, if the Torah would have said ashor yisakel v'gam alav, hava mina sekila. No. You know why? Because then we would have had hava mina that you get sekila, and that's not true because mitat be'alim is with chenek, which is a stam mitah, which is brought down in the Torah, right? Not in sekila. Okay, so therefore, right, that's what we're going to speak about later on. So therefore, what happens is, why are you going to come one more time? You're coming and you're telling me, right? We just made a cash between the shor and iskal, right, and the be'alim. We said just like be'alim, they get killed with 23 dayanim, shor and iskal, 23 dayanim. Ask the Gemara, maybe be'emet, you don't need the 23 dayanim, and really be'emet, really talking about that they be'emet, the owners get killed. So he says, one second, if you're going to tell me the owners get killed, you should have just said v'gam be'alav. You did not say v'gam be'alav yumat. It says no. The reason why it says v'gam be'alav yumat is because if not, I would have thought say hashori sakel v'gam be'alav means what does the owners get? Sekila. It's not true. They get chenek. So says the Gemara, right? Ikatav rachmana hachi have min skila. I would have thought to do with skila. So says the Gemara beskila salkata. You really think, right? It gets sekila. Katal ihu besaif mamono beskila. Let's say a person comes and he kills. Now, do you know that there's no difference the way that a person kills? If a person killed with a gun, killed with a sword, with an arrow, with a bullet, with a grenade, doesn't matter what, right? He burnt him. Doesn't matter. What does a person get? What is the punishment? The person comes and he kills. He gets saif. Saif is get killed by the sword. Hereg. So therefore, how does it make sense that if a person kills, and I don't care how he kills, he gets saif, he gets hereg, which is the lowest of the low, and all of a sudden now his money kills. His money means a shor. His shor kills. And he's going to get sekila? What's a hava mean? For sure we're not going to think like that. So says the Gemara, no. Vedilma haide katav rachmana yumat leakule ilave veleapuke misayf lechenek. Says no, you know what? Maybe the reason why the Torah wrote yumat is really be'emet leakel on the balashor, and to take him out from the saif to chenek. Meaning, I'm taking away from hereg, and I'm giving him chenek. Until here we're clear. Meaning we're being lenient. Okay, and that's why we did it. We took him out. We took him out from the mitah, right? And we're, right? Which one? Because stam mitah b'torah is a chenek. So if stam mitah b'torah is chenek, so if I took him out of the hereg, and I put him in chenek. So says the Gemara, right? Well, that means what's lighter? Chenek or hereg? Chenek. Hereg. Hereg is the lowest. So what does that mean then? So the Gemara asks us. The Gemara says, Hani chalaman da'amar chenek chamur. That's only good according to the man da'amar, that chenek is more strict. And therefore, I'm taking him out, ki'ilu, right, of the chenek. But according to the mandamar, the chenek is more lighter. What are you going to say then? Right? Because at the end of the day, the Torah should have said yumat in order to be mekel on him and to give him chenek instead of hereg. Hereg is saif. Hereg is by the sword. Hereg just means to kill him. Hariga. Okay? So says the Gemara, lo sakata. We're not going to think like that. Why? Tichtiv im kofer yushat alav v'im sakata bar katalahu. It says im kofer yushat alav. So now if we're going to come and we're going to say that bar katalahu, והכתיב it's written לא תיקחו חופר לנפש רוצח, which means that somebody that's going to be מתחייב מיתה on רציחה is not going to be patur from paying kofer. He starts to pay kofer. Remember, when somebody kills somebody else, he has to give a kofer. He has to give like a redemption for the soul. So he has to pay money to the person. So he comes and he says like this. He says, since it's written in kofer yushat olav, I would have had a havamina that really behemet what? That you're going to tell me that the Bala Shor gets killed, so therefore he doesn't have to pay kofer. And it's not true. He does have to pay kofer. So since he does have to pay kofer, obviously that's not the pshat. So says the Gemara Adraba, the exact opposite. Mishum hi gufa. Because of that in itself. Katal ihu lo tiskele b'mamona lebiktala. When he himself kills, he can't just pay it off. He gets killed. Katal shoro, when his shor kills, lifrok nafshe b'mamona. So then he should be able to redeem himself with money. So therefore, we could say the pasuk is kipshuto, that really be'emed the balashor is chayav mita, but the Torah gave him kofir to get out of it. And now, if he doesn't pay the kofir, then he does get chenek, which means one more time, when a person comes and his shor kills, what does it say? He has to pay kofir. What is a kofir? It's like a redemption. Huh? No, he doesn't get mama. He gets kofir. So says the Gemara, right? Says the Gemara, right? The yumat is that through the kofir. So he says, right now, if you're going to come and you're going to tell me, right, that really be'emet, what's happening is that we're going to kill him if he himself kills. So if he himself kills, he cannot redeem himself through money because he killed. If he kills, he himself has to be killed. But what happens now if his short kills? Here he's got a choice. Either he could get killed, right? He could get killed, which it's a possibility, or redeem himself. And how does he redeem himself? He can pay kofir, and then he doesn't get anything. He doesn't even get chenek. So he says, but rather Elamar Chizkiah says Chizkiah, Bechen Tanad v'Chizkiah, and that's also what we learned in the Academy of Chizkiah. Amar Kra, the pasuk says, Mot Yumata Makeh Rotzeachu. He says the one that hits, he gets killed. Why? He's a Rotzeach. You're going to kill him on his killing. But you'll never kill him, right, on the Retzicha of his shore. So because of that, even though it says V'gam be'alav yumat, so he himself does not get killed, right? Why? Because he's never going to get killed. Because only on a Ritzicha that he killed, he'll get killed. He's never going to get killed. Okay? Fine. So says the Gemara, so now we're going to ask the following question. Shor Sinai. A shore that was brought to Har Sinai when it was close to the Shekhinah. We know that any animal that came in Be'emai Mishlo Yichyeh, right? Bimshocha Yovel Hema Yalu Vahar. Right, we said in the Parashat Yitro, we said that when it was Har Sinai, what happened was nobody was allowed to go to the Har. If an animal would go to the Har, or a human being, it would be killed. So says the Gemara, how many people do you need? How many dayanim do you need in order to kill this animal? Right, Bekama. So says the Gemara, Mi gamar sha'a midorot or lo? Is the chiyuv mita for sha'a different than chiyuv midorot or not? What does that mean? We have generations. So for generations, whenever you want to kill an animal, in 23. But we have Horat Sha'ah. Horat Sha'ah is not for generations. It's a one-off. Right now, you do this, boom. So now, do I have to apply the same halacha, Horat Sha'ah, Torah ledorot, or not? That's the question. Meaning, over there is one-off, right, by Har Sinai. So do I also need the 23 Dayanim, or not? So Tashema, we learned in the Braita, the Tana Rabbi Hechal, in Be'mai Nishlo Yichyeh, Ma'ish Vesim Shosha, we just said im be'mai nishlo yichyeh hem right bimshocha yovel hem yalu v'har, meaning once they come and they blow the shofar, then they're allowed to go back up onto the mountain. So he says over here, so what happens? So what we're trying to say is that since it compared im behema inish, you made a kesh between both of them. So just like the ish, you need 23, so to the behema, you need 23. Okay? Fine. 2 dots. Okay? Ha'ari ve'azev. Okay, when we're talking about now the ari and the ze'er, we're talking about the different animals. This was part of the Mishnah that we said that different animals, right, is also you need 23, or do we say kol hakodem zachar, meaning whoever gets and kills them first is the best. So where we brought down different animals, we brought down the lion, right, the leopard, right, with the wolf, the bear, right, the bardilas, the nachash, the serpent, right? Okay, fine, right. Amar Shakish says Resh Lakish. Vehu shehemitu. These animals, they killed someone. Aval lo emitu, lo. But if they didn't kill anybody, you can't just kill them. Meaning, I cannot just go around hunting, weasels or bardilas or all these. I cannot just come and just hunt them down. Why? Only if they killed. If they killed, you could kill them. But if not, then you can't kill them. So even according to Rabbi Eliezer, kol hakodem leorgan zacha, it's only if there was a reason. I mean, he's not just giving you a blanket statement. By the way, any type of a nahash you see, just kill. Right? Any type of if they killed, yeah, go kill. Which one? One more time. 1 second. Alma kasavar. So you see from here that we hold yesh laem tarbut, that even these animals, it exists a concept of tarbut. Tarbut means you could actually train them. You could train them that they're not going to damage. V'yesh laem baalim, and they actually have baalim. They have owners, and it's not considered hefker. Right? And therefore you're not allowed to kill them. Rabbi Yochanan Amar. Rabbi Yochanan comes and he says, Afal pi shelo imitu. Rabbi Yochanan argues and he says, no, even if they didn't kill, you're allowed to come, you're allowed to kill. Alma Kasavar comes out that he holds. En laim tarbut, there's no tarbut. Ve'en laim baalim, there's no baalim. Why? Because if there's no tarbut, there's no baalim, obviously. Meaning that if there's no tarbut, so there's not going to be baalim that are going to be in charge of them. Okay? So, what's going on now? We have a machloket, or you're allowed stam to kill, right? Whether it's all these animals, the wolf, the lion, the bear. Now, obviously, we're not talking about doctor that a person's in sakana. Meaning, we don't have to wait for them to kill in order to say, now that they killed, now I could kill them. Obviously, if they're going to start attacking, obviously, there's nothing to talk about. We're talking about stam. You see a lion out there over there, right? Or you've got a sniper gun. You have a mitzvah to come and you were zoche, that you come and you say boom, and you just put a bullet to his head, or not. So again, according to Rabbi Eliezer, no. Why? Listen, he didn't kill. Nobody's in sakana. You could train them, and they could actually behave. And therefore, there's no what's it called? There's tarbut, and therefore they have owners also, right? There was a famous. This is again, is the Shita of Rabbi Eliezer, right? There was a famous person that he had like a lion and all these things, right? And again, the same halacha applies to there's a famous question about this even in science. Which one? No, but even nowadays, I remember there was a person that he took a small lion and he was training him and this and that. He didn't eat him. No, he's still alive. He's a moed, right? Fine. He's a moed and he's alive. He's a good one. Yeah. So what happens though is that right? The concept though is that a person just has to understand that this is the Shita of Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yochanan. This machloket, by the way, is a famous machloket even nowadays to do with, for example, killer whales. So they used to go and swim with them. So you're right. Once in a while, they would slip up, and you would have a whale that just happened recently, right, a few years ago, and it killed, it dragged down its trainer, and that's it. So then they stopped doing it inside. But technically speaking, that's the question: can you actually train them or not? It could be that maybe a lot of them, maybe you could train it. Maybe some of them yes, some of them no. We don't really know, right? So therefore, because of that, you have it. Okay, fine. So now we learned in a Mishnah. Okay, Rabbi Eliezer says, Kol hakodem leorgan zacha. Remember, in our Mishnah, we just said anybody that's going to come and he's going to kill, he's going to be zoche. Bishlam Rabbi Yochanan. I understand Rabbi Yochanan, right? Lemay zacha. What does it mean zacha? Right? Zacha leoran. It means that he could actually take the or. So now it actually became a game now. It's becoming a hunting game because now you're going to get the skins. So if you're going to be zoche and you just killed it, you're going to be zoche in the skins. Oh, so now it's now it starts. I think it's called poaching. No, poaching as well. There's a word for it. That they come, the poaching and all this thing. It becomes a game now. Now it becomes not a game. It's a business. It's a business. But I'm saying, but it becomes something like that. So Ela Shakish, but according to the Shakish, what does it mean now? Lemay zacha. What does it mean now? He's zacha, right? He says if you're going to only tell me that it's going to be mutar, that if they killed, then it's going to be mutar. So what does that mean now? So he says Kevin Shemitu. Since they killed, Shavinu Rabbanan Kamad the Gemar Dinayhu, right? Isuden Hananinu. So therefore, it's like Ke'ilu that it's already Nigmar Din. And once it's Nigmar Din, you're not allowed to have benefiting from the animal, right? So therefore, then what's Zacha then? It's Zacha Shamayim. It means Zacha Shamayim. One more time. According to Rabbi Yochanan, can I stam kill an Aryeh? Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan, yes. Yeah, Rabbi Yochanan. There's the Shakish in Shitat Rabbi Eliezer, and then you have Rabbi Yochanan, right? One more time. They're both arguing in Rabbi Eliezer. Meaning, Rabbi Eliezer came in and he said, Kol HaKodem Zacha. Now, what's the pshat in Rabbi Eliezer? Machloket Rabbi Shakish and Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Shakish comes and he says that you could come, right? And even if they didn't kill, if they didn't kill, you cannot kill them. Why? You could train them. So according to the Shakish, you can never kill an animal. Right? You can never kill one of these animals. Again, obviously, if you're in danger or somebody's in danger, yes. We're talking about that just stam, you just can't kill for fun. You cannot just kill this animal. Why? You could train them. That's Shitat of the Shakish. Rabbi Yochanan says, kill them. Zoche. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, when it says in the Rabbi Eliezer says Zacha, Kol HaKodem Ma'en Zacha, they're going to be Zoche. What are going to be Zoche? In the skins. Why? You saw far away, let's say, what's it called? A lion. Right? We can't speak about elephants, but it's not part of the thing. Let's say you see a lion. Right? You're going to kill the lion, and you're zoche in the fur. Chazak Baruch. According to the Shakish, though, when are you allowed to kill it? Only if it killed. If it already killed, so then you can benefit from the skins. So what's the pshat then? Zacha. So he says the pshat in zacha is zacha l'shamayim. He did a mitzvah. That's a pshat. He's not benefiting, like any materialistic thing. He's only benefiting. He was zochen shamayim, that he was the one that killed. He did a mitzvah and he got rid of this menace, right, from this animal from the world. The Tana kavated the shakish, but we actually have a Tana that goes according to the shakish. Whether it's going to be on a shore that kills, or an animal or a wild animal that comes and kills, that's going to be 23. ושאר בהמה וחיה שהמיתו כל הקודם לאורגן, זכה בהן לשמיים. He says the word זכה בהן לשמיים. So it's mashma exactly like Resh Lakish, not like Rabbi Yochanan. Right? Fine. Right? That's how it finishes off. It doesn't, it just brings a proof to Resh Lakish. Right? Fine. Says the Gemara. Rabbi Kiva Omer. Rabbi Kiva comes and he says, okay, we said that the killing has to be done with 23 people for the chayot. So Rabbi Kiva is Tanakama then. 1 second. Tanakama said, right, you're going to come and you're going to have to judge it normally. Comes Rabbi Eliezer, comes Rabbi Akiva, no, 23. Well, that was the Tanakama. Right? What are you doing? That's the Tanakama. Right? So what? Correct? Yeah, it's the same thing. So he says, Ika bana, you know the nafkamina between them is? The Nachash. The Tanakama counted the Nachash as the other animals. And therefore, according to him, you need 23 also for the Nachash. Rabbi Akiva, he says, you only need 23 for the other animals. The Nachash, he holds like Rabbi Eliezer, kol hakodem leorgo zacha. That whoever's going to be killing it, it's going to be zocheh. Now again, obviously there, we're going to get into the same machloket between the Shakish and Rabbi Yochanan. No, it doesn't. It's not a mitzvah. He's just telling you the Torah is telling you what it's going to happen. Right? When he says that that's just telling you what's going to happen. And that's also the way how you kill it, by the way. Yeah. Right? That's the way how you kill it. Right? But if you're going to try grabbing it by the tail, right? It's not going to be good. Fine. Next, en danim. We just said, and then again, so one more time. So if we just finish by saying that this is going to be Rabbi Kiva, so the difference between them is going to be the Nachash, that Rabbi Kiva goes back according to Shtat, Rabban, Rabbi Eliezer. So again, according to Tanakama, even the snake is the exact same as every other wild animal, according to Tanakama. According to Rabbi Eliezer, Kol HaKodem Ba'en Zacha, again, the Pshat, again, Machloket Rabbi Eliezer, Resh Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan. If it killed, or even if it didn't kill. Again, you have the Machloket. And according to Rabbi Akiva, the Nachash is going to be like Rabbi Eliezer. And again, you go back to Resh Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan. If you hold like Resh Lakish, there's nothing more to talk about. And we actually finished with a proof to Resh Lakish. So again, I don't know how the Maskana is going to come out, but that's just what's mashma, because he brought a proof to Resh Lakish and he didn't come out like anything else. Fine. En danim. We're not going to judge the Shevet without a Bedin of 71, because it's the full Shevet. So says the Gemara, Hai Shevet dechata b'mai. This Shevet, what did it sit with? Right? Are you going to tell me now, B'Shevet shechilel et Shabbat, that the entire Shevet came and was mechalel Shabbat? Eimar de palig rachmana ben yechidim lemerubin l'inyan avodat kochavim v'shar mitzvah mipliye. He says, 1 second, I don't understand you. The Torah only differentiated between yechidim and merubin to do with avodah zarah. Because if you remember, we said that a yechid gets killed with 23. At ina nidachat, they need 71. But any other mitzvot, did we ever make any differentiation? There's no differentiation. That is just like by Chilul Shabbat, right? So therefore it should be with 23, just like any other din in Fashol. Why do you need all of a sudden 71? Ela, but rather, B'Shevet Shudach. You're right. It's a Shevet that they did, Avodah Zarah. And therefore, since they did Avodah Zarah, they need the Sanhedrin of 71 because that is the Eid Hanidachat. So says the Gemara, Lemimra Dredina Derabim Tainile. He says what? An entire Shevet, they're going to come, they're going to judge it like Rabim, like Eid Hanidachat. He says, come on, who's this going like? He says it's not like Rabbi Shia, not like Rabbi Yonatan. Why? Ad kama osin Eid Hanidachat. Right? What is the amount of people that we come and we make an Eid Hanidachat? So he says, Me'asara ve'ad mea. According to the first Shita of Yoshia, 10, you need minimum of 10 to maximum of 100. Okay, which means that if it's going to be less than 10 or more than 100, they're yichidim. They're not Eid Hanidachat. Meaning to be an Eid Hanidachat, you need criteria. And what is the criteria? 10 to 100. Shitat Rabbi Yoshia. Second Shita, Rabbi Yonatan Omer, Mimea ve'ad rubo shel shevet. From 100, so it means the starting point is much, much higher. From 100 until the majority of the Shevet. Fafilu Rabbi Yonatan lo kaman, and even according to Rabbi Yonatan, it's only going to be ruboshi shevet. Aval kulo, but if it's going to be the entire shevet that they did avodah zarah, we're not going to judge them like an ira nidachat. So it comes out that the din of our Mishnah that a full shevet is going to be judged with shivim ve'echad. Who does that go like? Does it go like anybody? If it was chilul Shabbat, it should be like any other avera. So any other avera is always 23. There was no difference between a few people or a lot of people. If it's going to be avodah zarah, you're right. Avodah zarah, we did say ira nidachat needed 71, but ira nidachat, which is a full city, but there's criteria. It's either going to be 10 to 100. So if it's less than 10 or more than 100, nada, they're yichidim, or it's going to be 100 until rov. Here it's kulo shel shevet. If it's kulo shel shevet, it's not ira nidachat. So it's not going to be ira nidachat. What's going on? So Amar of Matan comes and he says, Hacha benasi shevet shechata askinan. You're right. We're talking about the nasi of the shevet that he was chata. And therefore, according to this, the Mishnah is teaching it that when you have a nasi that sins, 71. A bedin of 71, because he's a nasi. So he's like kilu the entire shevet. So therefore, you're going to need, the nasi is going to be 71.